Bruno Moratori should also get a mention. This could easily be the final again. It was last year. Could be this time, but it won't be, because the fates have decreed these two will play in the last 64, and of course that's because Gorst was sent to losers qualification yesterday. He won his first match in the tournament 9-2 over Nadim Okbani, not after a bye in the first round. Then he was shocked, losing 9-4 to Vitaly Pachura of Ukraine. Had to come back and beat Payne McBride yesterday, and he did so in losers qualification 9-6. Not though without a few concerning moments, I think it's fair to say. As for Ko Ping Chung, he also beat Payne McBride on the main table handily, and then overcame Thitim Haradinaj 9-4. That was after a first round bye as well. Who do you think will win this one, Carl? I think it's almost a toss of the coin.
Yeah, I mean, any chance of an easy question, Phil? I think I'm going to go with Gorst, though. He's riding that wave, isn't he? But listen, Ko Ping Chung, he's a beast on the pool table, that's for sure. Anyway, Gorst to break. Now breaks with a lot more power, and he's got to look at the blue 2. Goes into this corner. It's all about the red 3. I don't know if that goes in the corner pocket. Centre pocket, rather. It does go in the corner, obviously. Yeah, so it went easy in that side pocket. This is a little thin one. Got to be careful, Fedor, putting your cue like that. Sometimes it can roll away. Tall fellow. A good 6 foot. Still needs the extension. The 9 ball's in a funny position as well. It's on that sort of little point area where it can be awkward. Handled it nice. That's okay, he's got a big angle. This next shot is all about pace though. He's going to play for the 8 into the same pocket. There you see, he wants it just there. It's not going to be easy though. He'll thump the cue ball off one rail, back over to the left side of the table off the second rail, and back over to where he previously showed us. It's a little short, this. As I said, it was never going to be easy. to do this a lot, does Fedor. He really comes round and starts looking at the line that he wants the ball to take towards the pocket. Yep, never looked in, did it? As soon as he hit the rail there, he was always going to stay over the pocket. You've got to get a little bit closer than that. So Ko Ping Chung comes to the table. 8 over the pocket. He's got to get good on the 9. That could be a little tricky. It's going to be interesting to see how he plays this.
The extension available, so why not take it? Just to clear the mind.
He's looking to play thin, but he's going to leave himself a testing 9. Yeah, you see how the cue ball just comes out? Okay, big shot coming up.
With the 9 ball just off the cushion though, you won't be as concerned about that far point at least. In it goes. The defending champion draws first blood. Now with the turnover of matches, as we see Gorst's mistake on the 8, we haven't given you the scores for a while, so here goes. All of these last 64, of course. Sullivan Clark 6-5 up on Vitaly Pachura, who beat Fedor Gorst in winners qualification yesterday. Alex Pagulayan, blast from the past, 8-5 up on Alexander Kazakis. Mario He leads Konrad Yuzhushin 2-0. Marvin Assis 2-1 up on Wu Kunlin. Bernie Regulario on the hill against Zhao Grio at 9-5. If Regulario applies the finishing touch, he will play Joshua Filler in the last 32 later. Congratulations to Mark Bosch, who's beaten Babkin Melkonyan 10-5, and also to Chia Chen, who overcame Liu Ritang 10-7. Alexa Pachelch has taken the first 2 racks from John Morra. Fancied him to win that match the way Pachelch has been playing. Jeffrey Rodder and Victor Zielinski 1-1. What a grind this has been. Jonathan Pinagar 5-4 up on Ko Ping Han. Now bear in mind, they started at 10 o'clock. It's now 2 hours and 15 minutes later, 5-4. Albin Auschen had a slow start against Do Taekien. He was 6-2 down. Now though, he's leading 7-6. That's on table 2 on the Matchroom TikTok. Imran Majid 8-7 over Chris Melling. 8-7 for Elliot Sanderson over Ko Ping Yi. And I can tell you, Albin Auschen has added another rack. He's now 8-6 up on Do Taekien.
Yeah, the Elliot Sanderson match 8-7 over Ko Ping Yi and Imran Majid 8-7 over Melling. That's the same section. The winners of them are going to play each other.
It would be remiss of me also to not mention Moritz Neuhausen, the German, who's beaten Estonia's Dennis Graber 10-6.
No friends on the break. It's going to be the rollout or the push, as some of you may know. If you don't know, I'll explain. After the break, the very next shot, if you're hooked, that's when it usually means you're going to play the rollout. If a player can see the lowest ball, they'll always try and play some sort of shot. So in this case, Ko Ping Chung is hooked on the blue too, so he's going to play a push out. He'll roll the cue ball wherever he wants. And it looks like he's going to go up near his chalk. But when Fedor comes to the table, he'll have a look. He'll either play the shot or he can give it back to his opponent. So you've got to be careful. There's a lot to think about in this situation. I don't think Fedor gives this back, you know, Phil. I think he plays the kick and stick. It lends itself. So this is what I was talking about. Fedor will weigh up the shot. Does he want to give it back to his opponent and let him play the kick and stick? Or will he play it? I think he plays it, Phil. So a kick and stick is where the cue ball comes off a rail, then hits the ball, and it stops straight away. It sticks to the table. Let's see if he can get this one right. There you go. It was at this level, it was begging to be kicked and sticked. Ko Ping Chung with an error on the push out.
There's so many wonderful pieces of pool terminology. I think kick and stick is the best of the lot. Good call again, Carl.
Yeah, on the push out, you've almost got to leave something that is difficult enough that your opponent sort of wants to give it you back. Do you know what I mean? But then it's a bit of a double-edged sword because you don't want it too difficult, do you?
Well, the push out had a material effect on our previous match. Mickey Kraus lost 3 racks as a result of push outs that had to be questioned. The second rack he pushed out and left Filler an open ball from distance on the 2. I thought it was really quite cheeky. Filler, of course, knocked it in.
Yeah, we're just going to ask, did Josh get down and just pot it? Wasn't here for the start of the match, but I got here at 6-6, and what an ending, what a match it really was. There's something about a match that's been going on for sort of nearly 2 hours, and it all comes down to that one last deciding rack. Gorst with a long shot, got to stay still. Took no gamble with a cue ball, just a little stun shot.
Alex Pagulayan has beaten Alexander Kazakis 10-5.
It's a classy effort as well. One good shot required. Purple 5, play it into the right centre pocket. So he'll draw the cue ball back. Obviously he's got to get past that brown 7.
Fedor Gorst playing Ko Ping Chung in the last 64. That is one heck of a draw. Been a good effort this from Fedor. It was that long
two ball that he had to slot home and then play a real nice positional shot to get on the pink 4. But at the very beginning of the rack, it was a rollout from Ko Ping Chung that is effectively going to cost him rack 2.
Yeah, the opening 2 racks have been halved. Now, while the Josh Filler match was going on, right towards the end there, in front of our commentary position, I noticed that Fedor Gorst went over and heartily congratulated Oscar Dominguez for beating Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. There was an embrace, well done pal kind of thing. Dominguez, of course, was highly delighted. Now, the reason I'm saying this, we know Fedor Gorst is going to be in the US Mosconi Cup team. Do you think Oscar Dominguez would be a really good addition?
Yeah, he's having a good season. At the end of the day, still might qualify off his own right as well, so there's nothing much you can do if a player qualifies. They deserve to be in the team. Elliot Sanderson is on the hill. 9-7 over Ko Ping Yi.
And Joshua Filler, having survived that hill finish with Mickey Krause, has been given another tough assignment in the last 32 later. He will play Bernie Regalario, who pulled away from João Grillo of Portugal. Regalario winning 10-6. US Mosconi Cup captain Skylar Woodward has taken the first rack from Chris McDaniel, who is a relative unknown from Denver, Colorado. Jeffrey Rodder 3-1 up on Victor Zielinski. Jonathan Pinagar and Ko Ping Han 5-5. How long will that match take? Well, you'd definitely take the over on 3 hours now. Two balls in. There's a direct path to the 2, but boy, what a tough pot it is.
Yeah, the issue is if he's absolutely plumb straight, it's just a horrible shot to play. It's one of them shots that it's a little bit like when you jacked up over a ball and you've got to roll it full length. They're just horrible shots. They never get any easier. Now, if he's got a little bit of angle, it just makes this shot, well, a tad easier. Let's see what he's got. One of the better cueists on the circuit, Gorst. Yeah, he had angle, and boy, how well has he hit this. What a beautiful shot.
I was going to say that 2 ball was reminiscent of one that Johan Chua knocked in early on in the semi-final at the European Open against Shane Van Boening, but it wasn't reminiscent in the end because Chua had no option but to trickle the 2 in, length of table. That wasn't a trickle, it was the polar opposite. Neil Svein has beaten Robbie Capito 10-5.
Another good positional shot. What a place 9-ball pool is in at the minute. When you look back a few years ago, Phil, to where we are now.
Yeah, I think It's been transformative. And one of the great things about pool at the moment, so many fine players, still youthful. Hard to imagine given the way he conducts himself with utter professionalism at all times. Hard to imagine given what he's achieved already. Fedor Gorst is still only 24 years of age. And let's put this out there nice and early as he takes a 2-1 lead. What a hat-trick it would be. Can you imagine, Carl? Simultaneously holding the World Masters, World Championship and US Open titles.
Never been done. No one has held all 3 majors at the same time. What a feat that would be. Also trying to create history. SVB trying to win a record 6th US Open title. How's he going on, Phil? What's the score?
Well, he was 2-1 down. We saw him hit the white off the table on his break-off in the 3rd rack. Now, though, Shane Van Boening leading Francesco Candela 3-2. Vitali Pachura 8-6 on Sullivan Clark. Mario He 3-1 on Konrad Jajushin, who, of course, played Barry Hearn earlier this week. Hearn potting that superb 2-9 combination from distance to get the rack he wanted to achieve his ambition of winning a rack in the US Open. Marvin Assis 3-2 on Wu Kun Lin. Lee Van Corteza and Michael Feliciano 1-1. Alexa Vachelch untroubled thus far against John Morra. He leads 4-0. Jeffrey Rodder 4-1 over Victor Zielinski. Ko Ping Han has edged in front against Jonathan Pinagar at 6-5. Albin Aushin on the hill against Do Tae Kian at 9-7. Imran Majid on the hill against Chris Melling at 9-8. Same scoreline for Elliot Sanderson over Ko Pin Yi. What a win that would be for the shouter. I think that would be worth a shout if he crossed the line. Jon Iuski 10-7 up and therefore a winner against Yannick Pongers. And Jan van Leerup and Aloysius Schaap locked together at 8-8.
Well, look how close he got to potting the 1 ball. Dry break. This will cut in the side pocket. Cue ball will go into the purple 5. It's a hold for the blue 2. And this rack looks like it's all about this shot, Phil. As long as he gets on the blue 2 and he doesn't tie the purple 5 up, all the balls look like they're in the open. Yeah, fair enough. He's got to play a decent shot from 3 to pink 4 as well. But this is the shot where it could go wrong.
And it has done. That 5 ball being a little rude.
it's a good kick shot. This is how he played it, trying to get on the top rail.
All three Ko brothers out there battling away. Ko Ping Chung, in terms of age, the middle of the three.
Yeah, difficult to see the Sanderson Ko Ping table because they're very far away from where we are, Phil. I'm trying to see who's at the table. Looks like Ko Ping is walking around the table. And in fact, on the table next to him, Imran Majid looks like he's gliding around the table. He's on the hill, 9-8.
Yeah, I saw Majid and Melling walking through the casino last night and had a chat with them. I think that was pre-draw.
One thing's for certain, if Elliott does win, even though we can't see it, we might hear it, Phil.
I hope so. I think it's a really good trait. There was one occasion where we just came off air and he played a late match and he won, and when he shouted it was in the form of an expletive, so it was very timely that we'd come off air. So let's hope it's not a swear word, but I'm sure it won't be now. Just jubilation if you can beat Ko Ping.
I was about to say our fellow commentator, but it's more like former commentator at the minute, Phil. He's supposed to be on 12. He's currently just gone 12:30 here in Atlantic City. I don't believe he's on the table yet. Oh, yeah, he is actually. He is. I think he's having his warm-up run. So obviously Jeremy Jones is in the final 64, where he's drawn fellow American BJ Usuri. So it's JJ against BJ.
Yeah, table 9. Just taking a vacation at our expense, Carl. Picking up a nice few dollars as well.
To be fair, he bought me a drink at the bar last night, did JJ. He said, thanks for helping me out this week. I said, well, me and Phil wanted a steak dinner. I'm not sure one drink's going to cover it, pal.
Yeah, I don't think a bottle of vintage wine would cover it. I think we should be on commission.
Yeah, I'll let you explain that one to JJ. You can see the contrasting styles from this match to the previous match. If you look at Gorst and Ko Ping Chung, similar players, a little bit slower around the table. They like to double check their angles and where the cue balls come in and all that type of stuff, as where Filler, he almost sprints around the table, doesn't he?
Already you get the feeling this could be a big rack, because it would give Gorst a lot of satisfaction to win it.
I'd tell you what I could do with Phil. I could do with one of them, you know, like Wayne Riley at the golf, where he just walks around the course commentating. I could do with something like that. I could just go over to the table there.
Well, Radar is brilliant at his job. I know Wayne. Great player as well, by the way. You're very similar kinds of characters, actually.
Yeah, I do like his work, to be fair. Very good. Not sure you'd be cut out for his job, though, walking around that course, Phil.
No. Fedor Gorst is up for this. He lost the first rack, but he's won the next 3, and he leads the defending champion, Ko Ping Chung, 3-1 as a consequence.
Ko Ping Chung takes a timeout. He's getting himself out of the arena. He doesn't like what he sees. He's having a quick break.
Quite an early time to take your timeout. It's a permanent timeout from the event for Do Tae Kien. He's been beaten 10-7 by Albin Aushin, who won 8 of the last 9 racks. Do not dismiss the chances of the double world 9-ball champion. Aushin will play next. Either Jonathan Pinagar or Ko Ping Han. It is still 6-5 there in favour of Ko. Jeffrey Rodder has a commanding 5-1 lead over Viktor Zielinski. Now what about table 1, which you can see on the Matchroom Multisport YouTube channel? Is Shane Van Boening starting to assert his authority. He was 2-1 down against Francesco Candela, now it's 4-2 ahead.
Just had a quick jog over there, Phil. Both tables, hill.
So that's Melling against Majid and Ko Ping against Elliot Sanderson.
Yeah, winners to play each other and all, so what a start to the day here. We've been treated to a hill on the main table between Phillip and Kraus. If you missed that, Phillip run the table in the last rack to get the W. Shane might have a go with the jump cue here. This might tempt him. He must be able to just see that edge. Feels like he can. If he can, Shane's going to clip off it and just try and get distance, leave that yellow one up the top end of the table.
Functional. We'll keep you updated on that one, on all of them actually, as the day progresses. Only one last 64 match still to start. Yan Chua against Naoki Oi, all Asian battle, potentially a meeting of two players who could be teammates in the Reyes Cup.
That's the beauty of breaking hard. He holds his hand up, but I'm not sure why. I'm sure Fedor Gorst knows the harder breakers on the circuit have got more chance of fluking a random ball. Maybe it's because he's landed straight in on the yellow one. Told you about the two tables that were hill between Ko Ping Sanderson and Majid and Melling. All I can see is Majid's at the table and Ko Ping on the other table. That's the only news I can bring you.
There's nothing outlandish, is there, about Fedor Gorst? He's just very proficient, very professional.
Sanderson's at the table now.
The side on the cue ball, just promoting it into a very good position from which Gorst should extend his lead.
Well, I've got a roving reporter out there. Jason Shaw's just been over filling me in. He said Chris Mellin broke off, potted a few balls, played a safety shot, scratched on the safety, Phil. Imran cleared the table, but Jason said Imran was all over the show. Cue ball was everywhere, but he managed to knock him in. Majid, big win for Imran over Mellin.
Indeed. And now a big lead here for Gorst over Ko at 4-1. So, Aloysius Schaap on the hill on table 19 against Jan van Leerup at 9-8. Confirmation, Imran Majid has beaten Melling. To scratch on a safety, that will hurt. Ko Ping Chung 7-5 in that marathon against Jonathan Pinegar. Can't overstate just how lengthy that match has been, with no imminent resolution. Chris Reinhold has taken the first rack from Jeffrey Ignacio. How about this? Chris McDaniel from the mile-high city of Denver. Well, he's 3-up on Skylar Woodward. Piers Labutis and Carlo Biardo share the first two racks. Alexa Bashalj carrying on his merry way against John Morra to 5-0. Michael Bohannon of the Philippines 1-0 up on Ralph Suke. Another Filipino with vast experience, Lee Van Corteza. He leads his fellow countryman Michael Feliciano 3-2. It's in that Filipino section of the draw because Marvin Assis is 4-up on Wu Kun Lin. David Al-Qadi has taken the first rack against Bala Alawadi. Over on table 21, Jason Shaw will begin shortly against Karl Naderberg of Estonia. Konrad Yuzhushin 3-3 with Mario He. First rack still going on between Jonas Suter Camino and Duong Kwok Wang. And Vitali Patsura on the hill against Sullivan Clark at 9-7. The winner of that to play Oscar Dominguez next.
Gorst to break. He's got a nice lead here and he's playing very nice as well. Made a ball. Sanderson is at the table. Seems to be shaking his head, Phil, scratching his head, so I'm not sure what's going on. I wish I was over there.
Well, I well recall being tableside when Sanderson was hill in a match at the World Championship earlier this year, and he took an age to decide what to do on several shots. He just couldn't pull the trigger.
Yeah, Elliot's a funny kid. He's a funny character, and when he plays, he's got this aura about him where he makes you feel nervous because he wears his heart on his sleeve. You know exactly what he's going through at the table. Okay, Ko Ping Yi is back at the table, Phil.
Yes, but he's hooked.
Good hit, needs a bit of luck here. Might sit on top of the green. No, he's left the pot.
Yes, left the pot with the two in the same vicinity and the 3, 4, 5 open. This is a big shot. This could be the rack clincher.
Yeah, and it will start to get a little bit worrying for Ko Ping Chung. Still a long way to go in this match. We all know how quick these 9-ball pool matches can turn around. That's the beauty of 9-ball. It's fast paced, it can be exciting, things can just turn over super quick, and obviously winner breaks as well. But the winner breaks, the break's a lot tougher now, isn't it, Phil? You don't see many packages anymore.
Calmly stroked in by Gorst. I think one of his great assets, and he's got so many of them. He keeps so still on the shot, even on the pressure shots.
Phil Yates will bring you confirmation. I think Ko Ping Chung has got the job done, but there's a massive crowd over there, so I can't quite tell, Phil. He'll bring us that news shortly.
Yes, it's on table 21. I would be astounded if Sanderson had won that match and didn't shout out in total glee. So everything would suggest Ko Ping Chung has dodged a bullet.
Elliot was at the table though, and he was scratching his head, so I don't know what's gone on. I'm pretty close to Elliot, so I'll get the rundown of it later on if he has lost that match. But I'm just thinking back to the World Championships where he lost a heartbreaker against Mellin in the last 32, possibly 64. That was Hill that he lost to Mellin, and he was 9-7 up against Mellin. He didn't get another shot. He broke dry. That was all he wrote. Anyway, back to the main table. Gorst is just going about his business like it's a walk in the park.
Just checked up the cue ball. No fireworks here. Just good old-fashioned, effective pool. Well, he missed the 8 ball in the first rack, and that one, as they say, wiped its feet. I can confirm Ko Ping Chung has defeated Elliot Sanderson. Feel very bad for Elliot. Ko Ping Chung could be a real contender. And of course, so too could Fedor Gorst, already halfway to the victory line, leading 5-1. Ko Ping Chung books a last 32 meeting with Imran Majid. Jan van Lierop and Aloysius Schaap have gone hill. That's on table 19. Jeffrey Rodder 5-2 over Victor Zielinski. Chris Reinhold 2-1 over Jeffrey Ignacio. Skylar Woodward has just won rack 5 to trail Chris McDaniel 3-2. Piers Labutis 2-1 in front of Carlo Biardo. I'll tell you what, Biardo will need to play better in that match than he did against Chris Melling on the main table yesterday. It was one of the worst performances I've seen from the former US Open champion.
Yeah, it was an absolute shocker. It really was.
John Morra is being shocked by Alexa Pachel. She's 6-0 down. Michael Bohannon still 1-0 up on Ralph Souquet. Lee Van Corteza and Michael Feliciano. Tough one to call, I thought, before the start. That's 3-3. Marvin Assis 5-2 on Wu Kun Lin, who was a semi-finalist in the World 9-Ball Championship in Kielce, Poland last year. David Al-Qaedi has won the first rack against Badr Alawadi of Kuwait. Mario He 4-3 on Konrad Yuzhushin. He, one of the Neely men of this game. He's a smashing fellow. Would love to see him break through here. But there's so many giants of the sport still left in, one of them being Shane Van Boening, who is now 5-2 up on Francesco Candela. And I can tell you, the Ukraine will have a representative in the last 32. Vitaly Pachura beating Sullivan Clark 10-7.
Does this cut in? 3 balls on the break, Phil. I still don't know if this ball cuts in. If it doesn't, he'll play safe cue ball in behind the 8. Becoming very worrying now for Ko Ping Chung.
The man who dominated in many respects last year is being dominated himself. Looking as sharp as a tack is Fedor Gorst, 6-1. And Francesco Candela 5-2 down against Shane Van Boning. The Italian has to win this one, surely. This is over on Table 1 and on the Matchroom Multisport YouTube channel.
Ooh, he's missed that by a long way. Didn't even hit the jaws.
Yeah, I think the hesitation told us he wasn't comfortable on the shot, and he caught it grossly thick. What was that? A mystery shot, and it's worked out okay.
Well, do you know what, Phil? It's actually a safety shot he's played. He does that now and again in that instance. I know you might think I'm talking absolute garbage, but I've seen him do it 3 times this season.
Well, that's brilliant.
He slams it very hard and double banks it so it squares back up on itself.
I would never doubt you, Cole. Big ball for Van Boning.
It was the genius safety shot on the 7. It's created the chance to steal the rack, and he has done. 6-2 SVB.
And there's a segue there, you know, because Shane Van Boning is the most recent player to successfully defend the US Open. In fact, he won it 3 years in succession, 2012, 13 and 14, after earlier wins that took his total to 5. The last win was 2016, the first 2007. Now, the reason I'm saying this, only 3 players have retained this title: SVB, Darren Appleton and Mika Immonen. We thought, the way he started out, the way he plays the game generally, that Ko Ping Chung could be the 4th. Now, though, he's looking in desperate need of a turnaround, which has, as yet, shown no sign of coming.
Yeah, dry break unless the 6 falls, which it doesn't. And, well, it's not exactly kind for Ping Chung, this, is it? Look at what he's faced with.
Yeah, he's not had a great amount of quality table time, has he? You heard the little tut when he realised he hadn't made any contact with the 6 to coax it in. When they played in the final last year, Ko Ping Chung prevailed 13-6. All very different this time. As Gorst continues to put down the hammer.
Classy two-rail kick. Even Fedor liked that one.
He appreciated it. I don't think he liked it. I think he would have liked to have seen the one over the middle pocket.
Another good reply. I think the short cue will be coming out. It's already in his hand, Phil. He's bringing all kinds of weapons to the table here, but it's the short one. You can always tell when it's the jump cue, the way they chalk it. You can hear them chalk it because the tip is like concrete. This needs to go. Something's got to give in this match for Ko. Well, it didn't go.
The only thing that's given, he's given another chance to Gorst. A little bit of a unusual table, but he can solve the puzzle as good as anyone.
Fedor's shown us no signs that these balls are not going to disappear, Phil. He is really playing well. The big guns are showing up here on day 4. Last 64 and the last 32 come the end of play this evening. Just 16 will remain, and this arena will have a whole different look about it, Phil, come tomorrow.
Yes, last 16 followed by quarter-final action.
Yeah, a couple of options really. Go forward 2 rails or draw the cue ball back.
He missed the 4, as simple as that. Okay, the 6 is in, so he continues on at the table, but now the jump stick required. And while you fancy him to make the 4 because he's so good when it comes to jumping, making the 4 and gaining shape on the 5, that's a tough proposition. One of those visits where one thing led to another.
Full ball hooked. He's got to play this above the right hand side, middle pocket off the rail with low to right hand spin, and just try and pot the 5 here.
as he saw that 5 going down table. He wanted to freeze on the cushion. It did not. It stopped well short. This is eminently cuttable. He's as solid as a rock.
Yep, he is. He's played fantastic in this match. It's a big test. He was put under the gun when the draw was made. Well, when he'll have seen he's playing Ko Ping Chung, he would have thought, okay.
The beat goes on. And you can almost feel the grasp of Ko Ping Chung on the Barry Berman Trophy being loosened with every rack that goes by. 7-1, Fedor Gorst. Now, not a lot is guaranteed in 9-ball pool. One thing is, we will have a Dutchman in the last 16. That's because Jan van Lierop has beaten Aloysius Jaap 10-9. So we'll play Niels Fine next. Ko Ping Han remains 8-6 up on Jonathan Pinagar. They've now been playing for 3 hours and 5 minutes. Jeffrey Rodder on the hill against Victor Zielinski at 9-2. Chris Reinhold 4-2 over Jeffrey Ignacio. Jeremy Jones might be in the commentary box earlier than we thought. He's 3-0 down to BJ Usuri. Johan Chua 3-0 up on Naoki Oi. Chris McDaniel, a shout out to him. I think he's the least known of all of the 64 players in single elimination, and yet he's 5-3 up on Skylar Woodward. Carlo Biardo 4-2 on Piers Labutis. Alexa Pachelch could be about to complete a whitewash. He's 8-0 up on John Morrow. Michael Bohannon 2-1 on Ralph Souquet. 6-3 for Michael Feliciano over Lee Van Corteza. Wu Kun Lin and Marvin Assis could not be closer. That's 5-5. David Al-Qaedi had a great comeback yesterday. He's 3-0 up on Badr Alawadi. Jason Shaw has taken the first from Carl Naderberg, who, of course, Carl, you played in the UK Open. Mario He and Conrad Jajushin 5-5. Duan Kwok Wang 2-1 over Jonas Suto Camino. And Shane Van Boning 8-2 now over Francesco Candela.
It's just not happening, is it? For the defending champ, he just can't get a look at the ball.
It's not the kind of match where you can say Ko's imploded or had a nightmare. He's just been frozen out, living off scraps.
The very first rack when he played that push out when Gorst played the kicking stick. He's played another push out here. There's no way Gorst gives this back. So the idea with the push out is you're trying to roll the cue ball where your opponent doesn't really fancy the shot. But again, he's not going to give this back, Phil.
I'll repeat, 3 racks went the way of Joshua Filler in our first match today against Mickey Krause. 3 racks went his way as a direct result of push-out decisions from Krause.
Let me remind you that Ko Ping Chung rolled the cue ball there, Phil. An open pot of the one. Bizarre.
Didn't quite get hold of it as he wanted to.
Yeah, you could hear that sigh, couldn't you? As soon as he struck the cue ball, he knew.
There'll be a sigh from Victor Zielinski. He's on his way home, beaten 10-2 by Jeffrey Rodder.
Wowzers. Fedor's a big favourite to get the hook here, you know. Just lacked a little bit of pace, that was all. A touch harder, the cue ball would have been welded on the green 6.
Now I've got some good news for fans of Joshua Filler. He will appear in our next match on the main table in the last 32 against Bernie Regalario.
That is a tasty last 32 tie, the young Filipino. He's tipped big over in the Philippines. They know their pool, let me tell you that.
Well, that will not get the job done from Ko Ping Chung. No way, no how.
This might sound a little crazy, Phil. Talking about Skylar Woodward playing Chris McDaniel. I don't even know what Chris McDaniel looks like, do you?
I must say, I don't. It's a terrible admission, but it's true.
Well, I was speaking to Jeremy Jones yesterday about Chris McDaniel. He said, oh, he played years ago, and I'm not sure if he stopped playing for work or something, but he's been back playing just short of a year. And what a way to announce himself on the biggest stage of all.
The only thing I know about him is that he lives in a beautiful part of the world, Denver, of course. In that city you can see the Rockies rise up. And talking of mountains, Fedor Gorst is on peak form.
Well, this is plumb. It's absolutely plumb. What's the latest with SVB and Candelo, Phil? It seems to have gone a bit quiet over there.
Yeah, 8-3 now. Candela won the 11th rack. Very quiet over on table 20. It's still 8-6 from 10 o'clock this morning. Ko Ping Han trying to break down the resistance of Jonathan Pinagor.
Well, we like a record and a stat. They're about to record the slowest match in history on tour.
Well, it's quite possible that we could have 2 matches finished on the main table before one is finished over there, starting at the same time. Cue ball needs to apply the brakes. It's okay. It's okay, but it's not okay for Ko Ping Chung. His title defence in tatters.
It's going to be a tall order. It really is.
(8-1), and there is no weakness in the game of Fedor Gorst at all. So let me tell you how this last 32 is shaping up. Some matches already in place. Vitaly Pachura will take on Oscar Dominguez. Alex Pagulayan faces Max Lechner. As we've said, next up on the main TV table, it will be Bernie Regulario against Joshua Filler. Mark Bijsterbosch, his next opponent will be Shea Chia Chen. Imran Majid, Ko Ping Yi, Moritz Neuhausen, Yoni Uski, and Niels Fine against Jan van Lierop. That's the last 32 matches slotted in so far. Ko Ping Han on the hill against Jonathan Pinagor at 9-6. Are we going to see white smoke emerging? Chris Reinhold 4-3 over Jeffrey Ignacio. Vijay Usuri 3-0 on Jeremy Jones. 4-0 for Johan Chua over Naoki Oi. Chua played brilliantly in the European Open until the final, and then it all fell apart. Skylar Woodward back to 5-4 down against Chris McDaniel, the man we don't know, Carl. Carlo Biardo 5-2 on Pius Labutis. I was talking about a possible Alexa Pachelsch whitewash against John Morrow. Well, that's gone out of the window. It was 8-0, now Pachelsch leading 8-2. Michael Bohannon 4-1 on Ralph Souquet. Michael Feliciano 7-4 on Lee Van Corteza. 7-6 for Wu Kun Lin over Marvin Assis. 4-0 David Al-Qaedi over Badr Alawadi. I'll give you the rest shortly. But one result or scoreline I must give you. Shane Van Boning on the hill against Francesco Candela at 9-3.
At last, he's got a chance to pot a ball here. It's going to be awkward though if he pots it. Cue ball's going over towards the 8. It's going to be easy to hook yourself behind the 8 or behind the 3 because of where the blue 2 is.
Having been kept so quiet, that was a really good pot. But has the cue ball made the journey to get past the 3? I think from his body language, yes. Well, if he comes back from this, good luck to him. We've seen some extraordinary comebacks on the World 9-Ball Tour. I think it's fair to say this would be the most astounding of the lot. Would you agree, Carl?
Yeah, Wood. He's going to need help from the pool gods, as we call them.
Having had precious little to view, this is a sign of the class of Ko Ping Chung to run these balls.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. The first shot was a beauty. Every comeback has to start somewhere.
As it started here, well, you would think no, but it's all about restoring a measure of respectability to the scoreline and keeping Gorst off the hill. Told you Shane van Boening was 9-3 up on Francesco Candela. Well, if he wins, maybe when he wins, he will await the winner of Duang Kwok Wang or Jonas Suto Camino in the last 32. Duong leading 2-1. Mario He 6-5 on Konrad Yuzhushin. Jason Shaw has sprinted out to a 3-0 lead over Carl Naderberg. 4-0 for David Al-Qaidi over Badr Alawadi. Wu Kun Lin 7-6 against Marvin Assis. Michael Feliciano doubling up on Lee Van Corteza at 8-4. Michael Bohannon 4-1 on Ralph Souquet, who's fought so hard, the veteran, to be in single elimination. John Morris won 3 racks in succession from 8-0 down to 8-3 against Alexa Pachelch. Paulo Biardo seemingly in command against Piers Labutis at 6-2. Johan Chua the same against Naoki Oi, 5-0 up. And I can tell you, Skylar Woodward has just equalised against Chris McDaniel at 5-5. Jeffrey Ignacio and Chris Reinhold 4-4. And you've guessed it, Ko Ping Han and Jonathan Pinagar continue to duel. 9-6 Ko.
3 hours, 20 minutes that match has been going on. It will, without doubt, Phil, be the slowest match we've ever had on a WNT.
Pinagar's known for being methodical, isn't he?
That's one word.
Yeah, I was being kind. Of course, Carl the Truth Boys, not like that at all. He goes for the jugular.
The truth. Well, the truth here is Cole's got to knock these balls in. Can't avoid the purple 5. Oh, he could, but he's forgot to pot his 3 ball. Has he got second best prize? What's the latest with Double J? He's just walking past us, Phil. Obviously on some sort of timeout.
Yeah, I saw BJ Ussery walking out earlier as well. It's 3-0 on the scoreboard. I think there's been one more rack played though.
I was going to say, that's been 3-0 for ages. That will wind him up. He's known as the best player with the short stick. To not hit the ball, that's going to hurt.
Yes, trying the thin clip. Able to place the cue ball with his hand, and he might well have placed this one with his hand. It's in the perfect spot.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of a scenario here, what may happen if he gets the job done at 8-3, golden break 8-4, break and run 8-5, Fedor misses a long ball 8-6, game on, Phil. That's how easy things can change.
I like the idea, but golden breaks have been in very short supply, haven't they?
Do you know, Phil, it's a funny one that. When we first brought this break rule in, it seemed every match had a golden break. Why all of a sudden do we not see a lot of them anymore? What's that's gone on?
Well, if you recall, at last year's World Masters, now bear in mind it's a 16-player event, we had 15 golden breaks in as many matches. Ko Ping Chung just chipping away. Important to maintain focus. Deep down he'll know the odds are stacked against him, but he's not out yet. He's a fighter, there's no doubt about that. And from 8-1 down, he's recovered to 8-3 adrift. Shane Van Boening being delayed in the victory process. He leads 9-4 now against Francesco Candela. Duong Kok Wang 3-1 up on Jonas Suter Camino. If you remember when Shane Van Boening was World 9-ball champion, in his defence in Kielce, Poland, he was beaten hill by Duong, and they could have a rematch later on today. Mario He 6-5 over Konrad Yuzhushin. 3-1 now for Jason Shaw against Colm Naderberg. 4-1 David Al-Kadi over Badr Alawadi. Wu Kun Lin and Marvin Assis. 7-7 Michael Feliciano 2 racks away from victory over Lee Van Corteza at 8-5. Michael Bohannon 4-2 over Ralph Souquet. Alexa Pachelch still 8-3 on John Morra. Carlo Biardo, after those troubles against Chris Melling yesterday, well, they're very much in the past. He's 7-2 up on Piers Labutis. Seems as though Skylar Woodward might have weathered an early storm. He was 5-2 down to Chris McDaniel. Now he's leading 6-5. Johan Chua 6-0 over Naoki Oi. And Jeremy Jones has got a rack on the board. He trails Vijay Usuri 3-1 as Chris Reinhold has just gone back in front against Jeffrey Ignacio at 5-4.
Very thin. Watch the cue ball where it goes. Yeah, see how it goes down towards that bottom diamond on the long rail? Usually means you've mishit the break. He does have a shot on the blue too, though. Not easy. You can play it onto the pink 4 if you are new to 9 ball. As long as you hit the lowest ball first, if another ball goes in, you keep shooting, you stay at the table.
We've seen so much of that in this tournament. When players have been banking, especially to the centre pockets, they've been coming up short, too narrow, and again, that occurred there. He looks a little dispirited, Ko Ping Chung.
Yeah, he's just not really been in the match, has he, really? It's all been Gorst. I mean, you could make a case for 2 or 3 push-outs from Ko Ping Chung. Bit strange. This isn't going to get there, though. He was playing for right centre pocket. Probably play safe here now. Well, nobody will play safe, rather. What I meant to say is, can he get it in behind the 9? He can. He's got a gap there. That's handy. Oh, he's flicked the 9. Got to be careful here, Fedor. You don't want to start putting yourself under silly pressure.
Yes, because there's nothing quite like in Q Sports seeing a massive lead eroded. You start to think that horrible thought, if I lose this, I'll never forgive myself.
Yeah, you're right, Phil. Been there, I've experienced it. It is a horrible feeling because at 8-1 Gorst, he'll feel like he's got a foot in the last 32. All of a sudden, you start to doubt yourself. He can cut this ball in. And he does cut it in. And he's got an angle on the pink 4 to get on the purple 5. One good shot here, it's another rack. His younger brother, Ko Ping Han, is at the table. He's on the hill. His older brother is in the last 32. Oh, look at the speed of this, Phil. Look at the speed of this. It's plumb. It's perfect.
But the 5 ball is not perfect. How about that? Hung over the pocket.
He's perfect on this and all. He's fired it into the rail. Real poor cueing. Is that the end for the defending champion? Ko Ping Han has won that match.
Yes, 10-6. The marathon of well over 3.5 hours is over. Just one word, eureka.
Yeah, just had confirmation off George. 3 hours, 30 minutes on the dot.
can't afford to miss simple balls against someone with a killer instinct of Gorst. 9-3 up. One rack needed to go through, presumably to play Alexa Pachelch, who's 8-4 up on John Morra, but that was 8-0 to Pachelch. Morra trying his level best to do the impossible. As we said, Ko Ping Chung, the younger of the three Ko brothers, is through, and he will now play Albin Auschen next. Mind you, after that outing, he might need a rest. Jeffrey Ignacio and Chris Reinhold to 5-5. BJ Usri back three in front of Jeremy Jones at 4-1. Johan Chua steaming towards a whitewash against Naoki Oi at 7-0. Skylar Woodward now with his foot on the pedal. 7-5 up on Chris McDaniel. Chua, by the way, has just gone 8-0. Carlo Biardo 7-3 over Pierce Labutis. Michael Bohannon and Ralph Suke 4-2. Michael Feliciano, his lead over Lee Van Corteza being slightly eroded. It's now 8-6. Wu Kun Lin 8-7 up on Marvin Assis. 4-1 for David Al-Qadi over Badr Alawadi. Carl Naderberg fighting back against Jason Shaw. Shaw's lead only 3-2. Early days there, of course. Mario He 7-5 on Conrad Yajushin. Duong Quoc Wang 4-1 over Jonas Suto Camino. That will delight the army of Vietnamese pool fans who watch our output. If you're watching in Vietnam, Duong's doing okay out on Table 2. You can see that on the Matchroom TikTok, by the way. And Shane Van Boning 9-4 over Francesco Candela.
Well, it's not quite over yet for Ko. It's going to be a push out.
Getting over the line is often never straightforward. Ask Shane Van Boning. Francesco Candela now back to trailing 9-5.
Cue ball needs to bounce, or he's left Gorst a shot. Gotta go. He just stopped the potting angle. Maybe you can turn this ball over, left spin. That's what he tried. When you put left English on that type of shot, when the ball hits the object ball, it kind of turns it towards the pocket. The left spin throws it across a little bit.
Now, as he left the table there, after the 2 came back and was cushioned by the 4, Gorst was looking intently at the gap between 5 and 9 to see if there's any way through. There is, not through, but over. And after that, this match could be over.
Just one good pot here, Phil. Bit of awkward queuing because of the brown 7. Not saying it's going to bother him, but you've still got to take it into account. Look, he does this a lot. I'd like to speak to him to find out exactly why he does it. Well, I think so. Dropped his shoulder on that one.
Yeah, his worst blunder of the entire match, and technically his worst shot.
It's always funny, Phil, you know, when a match finishes, and I've been around pool all my life, and whether you're in the restaurant or you're in the bar, you know, pool players would congregate together, and someone will say, oh, well, yeah, I didn't really have many chances. Just one of them games. I've said it myself. You know, when you look back, like in this match, if Ko Ping Chung goes on to lose quite heavily, you could look back and actually think, well, actually, I have more chances than you think. Even in the push-outs that he's done, he's missed his purple 5 ball. He's got another chance here. The previous rack, if Ko won that rack, it'd have been 8-4. He's at the table now, 8-5. I know it's all hindsight, but it's amazing.
Yeah, the worrying aspect for Gorst is that he didn't just rattle that last missed pot, he missed it by a distance. And in losers qualification yesterday, he was in command against Payne McBride. In the end, crossed the line at 9-6, pleased to do so. And after a few stumbles, and he stumbled here. Ko Ping Chung not taking off the crown just yet. It is 9-4, and that will be a source of annoyance for Fedor Gorst. Okay then, Jeffrey Ignacio and Chris Reinhold still 5-5. Jeremy Jones has won rack 6. He trails Vijay Usuri 4-2. As for table 1, it's still going on. Francesco Candela has come back to trail only 9-6.
Yeah, SVB still a big favourite to take this match, but that sort of 9-6 area, 9-7 raised to 10, sometimes that can just mean one shot, Phil. Just one little shot. It's not a case of, it's not like snooker, is it, where you know you get a lot more shots, don't you, because of the safety side of it, the break-off. But Shane will be sat in his chair thinking, well, my opponent only needs 4 more racks. He's having a good look at this one, isn't he? He's Candela, he's kicking at the blue too. Can't blame him, he's got to make sure he hits this ball. Maybe it's off the break, actually, because he's looking at rolling the cue ball there, so it's obviously off the break this. He's not hooked. So he'll be calling a push out. Bit of vision there from myself. Or is he kicking? styles make fights. SVB likes to get on with it. He's a power player. Candela, the complete opposite. And he's not doing it on purpose, is he, Phil? It's just his style of play. It's a little bit like darts. You have dart players that play very quick, some that play a little slower. But it's always the quicker players that struggle, isn't it, against the slower players? It's never the other way round.
Yeah, 99 times out of 100, if you've got a quick player and a slow one, the slow player will dictate the pace.
Yeah, because we come over to this table and he's probably took a good 2 minutes since we've come over. So it is the push out. It's unusual to take that long on the push out.
Yes, because right now it's the final day today, but this is the last day where there is a shot clock on the main match table and on none of the others. On the main table in this match, I think we've had 3 extended interruptions in play.
Shane may be tempted into the bank, into left centre pocket, as opposed to playing safe, because he knows if he nails it, he'll have a chance to win the match. It kind of lines itself up for it. He's got to play it hard. That will straighten the 2-ball up. Doesn't need to go for it. We'll just lock him up behind the 3. So it is the lock up. Can't fault him. Okay, we'll flick back over to the main table. Can Ko Ping Chung, our defending champion, win the last 6 racks in this match? 9-4 down, but he's got the break. Needs a 9 out the way, and he has. It's a chance.
While we weren't looking, Carl, the last 32 has begun. Moritz Neuhausen and Joniuski over on table 10, underway. I must tell you about table 23, Johan Chua handing out a 10-0 whitewash to Naokioi. Could well be another rack back. Gorst regretting that missed 3.
Johan Chua keeping up the good form, semi-finalist at the World Championships, runner-up at the European Open, and he's into the final 32 here at the US Open.
And he will be favourite to beat either BJ Ussery or Jeremy Jones next.
3 balls away from 9-5 with the break. It's achievable. It's more than doable. Candela concedes. SVB was on the 9 ball. 10-6. Shane is through to the final 32. The hopes of a 6th title, a record-breaking 6th title, is still on.
Yes, and hopes of a miraculous recovery on the main table for Ko Ping Chung is still on. Fedor Gorst should have had this in the bag already. Now, though, Ko Ping Chung narrows the gap to 9-5. As Carl said, Shane Van Boening through. Looks like he'll play Duong Quoc Huang next. The Vietnamese star, 6-1 up on Spaniard Jonas Suter Camino. Mario He, 7-6 on Konrad Yuzhushin. The bright start of Jason Shaw has been wiped out. It's 3-3 there. Shaw and Naderberg. 6-2 for David Al-Qadi over Badr Alawadi. Wu Kun Lin on the hill against Marvin Assis at 9-8. Same score, Michael Feliciano on the hill against Lee Van Corteza. Michael Bohannon 5-3 over Ralph Suke. Alexa Pachelch was 8-0 up on John Morrow. Morrow won the next 5 racks. Pachelch has just got to the hill at 9-5. The winner of that will play the winner of Gorst Ko Ping Chung. Carlo Biardo 8-4 on Piers Labutis. Skylar Woodward 8-6 on Chris McDaniel. Biardo and Woodward on collision course. That would be an interesting match. BJ Ussery now 5-2 up on Jeremy Jones. Is our commentary colleague running out of steam? Jeffrey Ignacio and Chris Reinholdt 6-6. And that's it in the last 64. 1 rack on the board in the last 32. Finland's Joni Uski taking it to lead Moritz Neuhausen 1-0. So we've brought you 2 matches in the last 64. We'll bring you 3 in the last 32. Just when he wanted something to go in his favour, it is a dry break.
Yeah, we'll take a look in a minute at what he's left, but it's another miss hit on the break. You can see how thin, because the cue ball went low on that left-hand rail. No pot, so it's going to be a safety. At the European Open, Phil, Fedor Gorst was 9-5 up against Skylar Woodward and lost. So it can happen.
It can indeed. I recall Woodward had a little bit of luck, didn't he, escaping a snooker, and then from that point on he was superb.
overhit. Chance of a better safety here.
What a cardinal sin. He didn't reach a cushion. He did not reach a cushion with either cue ball or the one. Oh dear me. What a way to lose if indeed he does go out.
Well, that Gorst can't believe his luck there. He'd have been convinced he's going to come back to the table hooked in a bad spot. Instead, he's got ball in hand.
Not a road map, but he can dish from here. He can do what's necessary.
Yeah, green 6 to the brown 7 is where this rack and this match will be decided. Carlo Biardo must be playing a lot better today, Phil. 8-4 over Labutus.
Yeah, Carlo Biardo, a devotee of the wooden cue, has gone to carbon. Maybe in the getting accustomed to it phase. Mind you, he did win the World 9-Ball Tour ranking event at Rax, didn't he, in West Hempstead, New York at the weekend, overcoming Alexander Kazakis in the final.
Yeah, so he should have plenty of confidence. Jeremy Jones, 5-3 down now over BJ Usher, but I have a feeling he's just had a golden break, so that might be 5-4.
Nothing against BJ, but come on, JJ. What a great story that is, by the way. Part-time player, spends his time now behind the microphone. He's had some really good wins here. Tyler Steyer, Torsten Homan. You're right, it was a golden break, 5-4.
This is a little thin. Boy, this is tricky. I don't even know if he can get down close to the brown 7 here. Got to play this hard, I know that.
Is he going cushion first? The way he was pointing the tip there. No, it was conventional, I believe. Oh, and that's very nicely done. He'll be happy with that. Ecstatic.
Good shot to get on the brown 7 there from Fedor. Under a little bit of pressure. He just wants to get this match over and done with. He was 8-1 up. He's been put under a little bit of heat from Ko Ping Chung, but Ping Chung he's not played well in this match. He's a couple of balls away from losing, and he won't defend his title. Oh my word. Fedor Gorst. Practically over the pocket, the 8-ball was.
Hit it really badly, much like the 3 he missed in rack 13. Is he seeing the winning line and tensing up? You have to assume yes.
He's been fortunate not to leave this over the pocket in an easy shot, so it's a rail first. Classy, very classy. Here comes the cue ball. Can you believe this, Phil? Gorst 2 balls away from the victory.
And now, this is doable for Ko Ping Chung. Make no mistake about that. What a story this would be if he wriggled out of this with a victory. I was mentioning this yesterday, Carl, when I was commentating with Scott Frost, the very well-known Q Sports commentator Clive Everton back in the UK. He coined the phrase clincher's disease when a player had trouble getting over the line. And maybe Gorst has caught that, clincher's disease.
2 chances he's had for this match. He's missed the red 3, and then he's just missed the 8-ball.
A buzz of anticipation around this arena, I can tell you now, because things have got really interesting here on the main table. Chris Reinhold 7-6 up on Jeffrey Ignacio. Skylar Woodward on the hill against Chris McDaniel. He's turned a 5-2 deficit into a 9-6 lead. Also on the hill, Carlo Biardo over Piers Labutis at 9-4. Alexa Pachelch 9-5 against John Morrow. Michael Bohannon 6-3 up on Ralph Souquet. Lee Van Corteza and Michael Feliciano Hill 9-9 over on table 22. David Al-Qaidi 8-2 up on Badr Alawadi. Jason Shaw in a battle with Karl Naderberg at 4-4. Mario He 8-7 up on Konrad Yuzhushin. And it looks like being Shane Van Boning against Duong Kwok Wang in the last 32, because Shane is through and Duong is 2 racks away from joining him, leading Jonas Suter Camino 8-2. With regard to the last 32, Oscar Dominguez has taken the first rack from Vitaly Patsura. Shea Chia Chen 1-0 up on Mark Bosch de Bosch, and Joniuski 2-0 over Moritz Neuhausen.
Well, I can't stress how bad he has broke in this match. Watch where the cue ball comes off the yellow 1 ball. It's far too thin. That's why the cue ball's flying around the table. He's got no control, and that's why he's scratched. If your cue ball is flying around the table at that pace, you are hiring your percentages of a scratch, and that's what's happened. Surely Gorst gets the job done now. 3rd time of asking.
Yeah, you might say he was unlucky, and I suppose he was, but as Carl has explained, the chance of being unlucky was heightened by what he did with the break. Now, can Fedor just put the lid on this and advance? His prevailing emotion, if he does so, will be one of relief. Remember, he led 8-1 and 9-3.
For the Ko Ping Chung fans out there, your only hope is possibly the green 6 to the brown 7. But from the purple 5 to the green 6, that's where it may go wrong as well, because he might not get ideal on the green 6 to go on the brown 7.
If this was early in the match, it would be a no-doubter. He was in supreme command of the contest and himself. Now though, tension palpable.
Yeah, that's good. That makes life easier. Got a nice angle.
Wu Kunlin is through, beating Marvin Assis 10-8. Fedor Gorst hoping against hope. This is 10-6. Gorst's firm friend Skylar Woodward is through, beating Chris McDaniel 10-6. That trio who spearhead the US Mosconi Cup team, Woodward, Gorst, Van Boning, will all three be in the last 32. Two are there. Gorst is 2 balls away from joining them.
Yeah, Dominguez is already there. He's in the last 32. Plus you've got JJ and BJ, so that would make another. He will be relieved, there's no doubt about it. For the 3rd time of asking, he's going to get the job done.
At lunchtime in Atlantic City, Fedor Gorst knows he made something of a meal of that. But in the end, when Ko Ping Chung scratched on his break in rack 16, Gorst held firm. He is through by 10 racks to 6, and Ko Ping Chung's hold on the Barry Berman Trophy